Hi guys, welcome back to Motorcycle Repair. I'm Ash, and today we're going to be working on this Aprilia RSV. And I'm going to show you how to do a starter clutch. And these are the tools you're going to need. You want yourself a decent socket set, an impact driver, good Allen key set, and you definitely want a flywheel puller and a drain pan for catching your oil. Now, that said, let's get this bike on the bench and get the panels off. Alright, so whilst that's draining, I'll go ahead and show you what you need to remove. You need to get rid of this lower pipe, just undo that clip, move that one out your way, and you've got 3 bolts to hold the oil tank on. One there, one up here, and one up the front here. Once you've undone all them, got the hose off, we can move this oil tank right out the way and get to the stator cover. Yep. Close. Right. Okay. Right, so now that the oil tank's down out the way, we've exposed the stator cover. Now, to get this off, got a load of 5mm Allen keys right the way around. Get them undone. But first, I would suggest, it's always a good idea, give it all a good clean down, wipe down some brake clean or something. Just prevents getting any dirt inside, it's what you don't want. sure you get all the worst of the loose stuff out of the way. And then get an idea, if you've got a airline, just give it a good blow out as well. And now we're ready to remove all the Allen keys. Now, all of them are removed. Just get the bolts out of the way. Put them to the side. Make sure you don't lose any. Then you want to grab yourself a soft mallet, rubber, plastic, anything. Just make sure you don't mark this or damage it in any way. And just give it a good tap. That'll release all the shmoo. And then it does come off. This one's clearly been in before because it's been sealed up to the moon. So I'd suggest when you do this job, make sure you've got another gasket to put on. Because the chance of saving that gasket is pretty slim. So from here, you can go two routes. You can either disconnect the stator wiring, which is on the other side of the bike. It goes through the V and out the other side. Or if you've got a bungee cord, cable tie, welding rod, anything like that, just secure it up out the way and it just takes the strain off the cables. Right, so from here you're going to want to get yourself 14mm Allen key. Ideally you want one with an adapter so that you can put it on the rattle gun, because this bolt can be an absolute nightmare to get out. So here we go. Yeah, there you go, point proven.
I think we need to bring out the big boy, mate.
Yeah, I reckon you could be right. Yeah. Right, let's try again. That's got bugger. Right, now you're going to want a puller. You don't want to be hitting this with a hammer. This one's been hit with a hammer before by someone. You can tell by the outside it's just mullered, the inside is mullered. Ideally you want something like this. It's a bit of a homemade thing, but it works. Put this little button on the inside of the crank. So I'll screw that button in there. Make sure it's in a decent amount, got a decent bite on them threads. Last thing you want is to damage them. Then we screw the puller into the flywheel, like so. And then get a socket in there. Of course it's on. Pass me that adapter. Cheers. Now, as you tighten that, it pops the flywheel off like that. Now, when you take this off, there is a Woodruff key on the crank here, so just make sure that that doesn't pop out and you lose it. And then inside here, you want this one as well. Now, when you take these off, I would suggest taking it off before ordering parts, because sometimes you might be lucky and it might just be the Sprag, but it's always worth checking the mating surfaces that Sprag runs on, because if they're damaged, you could put another Sprag clutch on there, it won't last 2 minutes. So if they're damaged, if they're scored, if you can feel any marks on this side or that side, get rid of it, get new housings, everything it runs on, and then you should be good. Okay, so once you've got your flywheel and all the bits and pieces off, you want to bring it over to a clean work surface ideally. Get yourself your 6mm Allen key and undo these 3 bolts inside the flywheel. Get them out of the way. Flip it over carefully. There we go. That piece should just pop straight out. There's your Sprag. Actually seems to be in okay condition. That runs on the inside of this one and the outside of that one. Okay, so there we go. That shows you how to get it off. Once you've got it off, you know what parts you're going to want, so go order your parts. And then putting it back together is just the opposite of removal, obviously. I will say make sure you put the Sprag on the right way, because obviously if it goes on the wrong way, you'll go to turn the engine over and it won't do anything. You'll see it's a one-way starter clutch. So just always check. You can put it on and turn it behind, and you'll see if you've got it the right way or not. When you put all the bolts back in, especially these ones, make sure you really do put thread locker on them. Yeah, thread locker, put it all back together, new gasket, and that should see you good. I'll pass you over to Kevin, because he's going to explain to you the main causes of what causes this to break. There we go.
Great video there by Ash, well demonstrated. Now just a little bit on what makes the starter clutch go. So on these RSVs, the biggest problem is the high compression of the engine. Now, say like your battery, if it's not tip top, and I mean it has to be really good, if it drops down, it will put extra load on the start clutch, and that is one of the main reasons why these clutches always go. So it's best to keep your battery topped right up. You know, if your battery, if you go to start it and it sounds like it's turning over slow, stop right there, charge the battery, go again. There is actually a upgrade for the starter, the main starter wires, which is a good upgrade, because apparently that's another fault on these, is that they're too small, not man enough to transfer the current from the relay down to the starter motor. So that's something else worth looking into. And there's also one other thing that I've noticed a lot of people do on these bikes, a lot of owners. So when they go to start it, they give it some throttle, not realising that when you open the throttle, obviously you're letting more air into the engine, and in return that gives you more compression. Now when you put more compression into the cylinders, it's twice as hard for the starter motor to turn that engine over. It's a lot more load on it. So when you start these bikes, just put the choke on and just press the starter button until it fires up. Do not give it any throttle at all. I think that just about covers it really. Good job, Ash, and we'll see you in the next video where we'll be demonstrating a RD500.
Cheers guys.